It's day two of a lockout of 730 unionized workers at ports in British Columbia, including at the busy port of Vancouver. The lockout is the latest development in a nearly 2 year contract dispute that the union says was an overreaction by their employers. But the BC Maritime Employers Association says its decision followed industry wide strike activity at terminals by the International Longshore and Warehouse Union. The employer's latest contract offer to foremen include a 19.2% wage increase over 4 years and the average $21,000 payment with back pay. Prolonged action could hurt Canadian supply chains, but will not affect grain or cruise operations. UBC economics professor Torsten Jaccard joined us to explain the impact of the strike.
There is a push to mechanize parts of the activity at the port. That is removing some of the labor involved in taking containers off ships, loading them onto trucks, trains, etc., and replace that with some mechanization. Of course, the union that represents longshoremen, which is typically the people doing those jobs, is somewhat opposed to this. And this is basically the crux of the negotiation between the port and the union. So at this time, it seems that they're negotiating exactly how to compensate the workers in terms of pay or increased hours. And it looks like they have not reached an agreement. Now, the threat now is that the longshoremen will be locked out of the port, and the port will shut down activity until an agreement is reached. This is significant in that about a third of all goods exported from Canada to places outside of North America go through the port of Vancouver. So this is a fairly serious disruption if it is to occur. In the short run, most businesses have the inventory to deal with a short-run disruption to their supply chain. So I think if this lasts a couple of days, that's not something to be too worried about. Firms are usually pretty flexible, both on the import and export side. If this gets into a few weeks, that's where things get a bit more tricky, right? If you're a foreign firm, there are other markets you can sell to other than Canadian markets, and you might start looking that way if the port stays closed for a long time. If, however, you're a Canadian firm, you probably have less recourse of where you can send your goods. So I think, we often tend to think of ships coming into Vancouver as bringing goods. They also go in the other direction, and they export a lot of Canadian goods to foreign markets.